Picking baits for ponds can get complicated. I have a ton of them. So in this video, I'll show you a couple from each category that I have complete confidence in to help narrow it down for you so that if you only brought these baits with you, you could bring them to your pond with confidence. So if I had to choose out of these top waters, well, there's so many ponds with different cover, so let's do it this way. If you're loaded with cover like laydowns, grass, and lily pads, and you want as many bites as you can get without losing out on big bites, it's the Jackall Kaera. It comes through everything. It's small. You don't need a dedicated frog rod, like a 7-foot-ish heavy fast will do. It's deadly from spring through the fall, and it's just a winner. And I've had comments about the smaller Caperlan Frog when I mentioned the Kaera. I haven't used this one yet, but I plan to starting next spring. If you have more open water to fish, then I'd go with a walking bait like the Megabass Giant Dog X. It casts a mile, you can cover tons of water rather quickly, and when you get the hang of walking it, you can manipulate the walk and weave it in between some sparse cover as well, like spread out lily pads and visible grass patches. It works especially well down these grass edges and over drop offs when you fish parallel to them. On to reaction baits. This might sound weird, but my number one choice is two baits, the spinnerbait and the chatterbait. I fish both in the same places, around any and all cover, pads, grass, laydowns, with the spinnerbait being able to fish in the thicker stuff and it's better around wood. But the main factor for my choice is the weather. The crappier the weather, like the wind and the rain, the more I lean on a spinnerbait. Now, the chatterbait still works in these conditions, which brings me to the number two factor, which is what are the bass going to bite more? Sometimes I tie on both and see what the fish tell me. And there's some ponds where the bass just eat one of these better than the other. The spinnerbait I use is the Megabass SV, and the chatterbait is a Z-Man Jackhammer, and an amazing budget option is the Hag's Hurricane Bladed Jig. My next reaction bait choice is the crankbait. There's many types of crankbaits for different situations. So for ponds with grass, you can't beat the Strike King Hybrid Hunter. Whether you want to throw the standard size or the junior, shallow model or not, this bait is just flat out amazing. Hybrid is the best term this bait could have been given. It's super loud, comes through grass really well, and you can fish it in a variety of ways. So if you want a bait that does almost everything, get one of these. You can literally crawl it on the surface for a little bit of a wake bait. You can twitch it on the surface and it'll basically be like a walking bait. And just listen to that noise, man. If you want it to be like a jerk bait, you just reel it down and then you can just do the same thing, just subsurface. And you can do a stop and go, and it rises up, stop and go, comes back up. And better yet, you do all of that in one retrieve, and you have a bait doing anything and everything to be able to get a bite. Now, if you're looking to bounce off of cover like wood and rock and shallow water, then grab yourself the Bill Lewis ATV. I've yet to get it stuck in a laydown, even when trying to on purpose. Now, for the third category, I'll call it the get bit category, when not much else is working and I just need a bite. The jig. I rely on this combo, a 3/8 ounce Beast Coast Tungsten Little Magnum paired with a Strike King Rage Menace rigged vertically. I'm imitating bluegill. It can almost be like a reaction bait the way I fish it, and if you've watched my videos for a while, you know it's coming. Even if your pond bottom is full of muck and snags where it's like impossible to use bottom baits, you can still use a jig and it doesn't have to be a swim jig. Just pitch this guy anywhere you think a bass might be. Instead of letting it hit the bottom, I just do this with my rod tip. It's like I'm just dangling it in the face of whatever might be down there. And if I don't get bit, I just pick a different spot and do it again. I'm just dangling it and hopping it above I'm just dangling it above all of the junk that might be down there. And it works amazingly well for me. And if you'd like to see more about that jig retrieve, I did a whole video on it and I'll post that at the end of this video. In a Texas rig, and this is an interesting part because I think this is a big reason behind catching more bass. Ponds in Texas rigs are like peanut butter and jelly, they just go together. But I hardly ever throw one. Not because they don't catch fish, because they absolutely do, but it's because every time I go fishing and I run into somebody else that's fishing, I'm always taking a peek at what they're throwing, and it's usually a Texas rig. And it's almost always the Senko. My point is, I'd rather just be throwing something different than what everybody else seems to be throwing all of the time whenever I go. But if I had to pick a Texas rig for you to use, I won't deny the power of the Senko. It definitely works. You can flip it in and out of anything and everything. You can fish it fast, you can fish it as slow as you want, and you can even rig it wacky and just let it fall, and you'll get bit on it. If this helped you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and here's that jig retrieve video, and also another video over here, and I'll see you there.